Just to say, firstly, we met with a number of manufacturers. Firstly, there were a number of producers from both China and India that were in the development phases, and they've shared many of the studies with us and with the Ministerial Advisory Committee. So the department and the MAC have met with a number of suppliers, and we started meeting with them last year quite early. Some of the suppliers are Pfizer, AstraZeneca, Johnson & Johnson, Moderna, as well as Supplier. So many of these suppliers required us to sign off non-disclosure agreements. These agreements basically require that we don't share any information until the point at which the vaccine offer is accepted by ourselves. And so for that reason, we are limited in terms of some of the information we can share. The vaccines that we've been looking at, and just to give you an overview, the Pfizer vaccine, as you know, has been approved by the FDA on an emergency basis. And a number of other countries that have got into bilateral deals have also done so. The World Health Organization pre-qualification has also done approvals. Supplier is still waiting for the final application to come through. We anticipate that will happen during the month of January. The effectiveness of this vaccine is 95%. It's a 2-dose vaccine. The rollout has happened in a number of countries, particularly those that have had bilateral deals. This hasn't happened through the COVAX facility because COVAX has not got into agreement with Pfizer. The storage of this vaccine is -70, which has created a limitation for us. We have very limited commercial, ultra-low cold chain storage for such vaccines. And so we would need to be cautious about the volumes that we would be able to procure if we use such a vaccine. The second is the AstraZeneca vaccine. This vaccine is approved by the MHRA, which is the British authority, as well as the DCGI in India. And we anticipate more authorities will probably be approving this vaccine fairly soon. It's also a 2-dose vaccine, 70% efficacy. The AstraZeneca has basically outsourced its production to a number of sites globally with the target of producing billions of doses of vaccine. The largest vaccine producer globally is the Serum Institute of India. And this company doesn't have a presence in South Africa. However, its local partner is Supplier, and the Serum Institute will probably be one of the biggest producers of the Astra vaccine. This vaccine is likely to become the most widely used one globally, simply because it can be stored at fridge temperature, and the volumes will be quite high in terms of production. I think over the next few months we'll see this. And the company has taken a very responsible approach of tiered pricing, and so you'll see different prices based on countries' affordability. Then the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, this product has not been approved yet by any of the regulators. The company is still putting the dossier together. Here again, we're expecting this in January. Once this vaccine is approved, it'll be a real advantage because it's a single-dose vaccine, which is quite easy to administer, not having to call a person back for a second dose. It'll also be quite cost-effective for us in terms of the delivery of a single-dose vaccine. This company has also got into an agreement with the local manufacturer Aspen on a contract basis. So Aspen will be producing some of the volumes of this vaccine. The last one is the Moderna vaccine. This is a vaccine that has been approved by the FDA. It's a 2-dose vaccine. It's stored at -20, not fridge temperature, but not as cold as the Pfizer vaccine. This company doesn't have a presence in South Africa. We reached out to them eventually through Lex Cochran, who was on the advisory task team on acquisition, and we tried to persuade them around supply. It's clear they have no intention of filing a dossier anytime soon with SAPRA at this stage. The vaccine procurement, just to give you a sense about what's going on there, the COVAX facility has focused predominantly on agreements with vaccine suppliers that are suitable for developing countries. So they've stayed away from the ultra cold storage simply because it'll be very difficult for developing nations to accommodate such a vaccine. Now, Pfizer was the first vaccine out of the blocks and has become available. A number of developed countries, you will see, has rolled out the vaccine. And these are countries that have got into bilateral agreements. They're not part of the COVAX agreement as such. So we see a lot of that rollout taking place currently. COVAX is focused mainly on the vaccines that can be kept at fridge temperature. Our usual cold storage can accommodate. The vaccine from AstraZeneca and Johnson & Johnson is likely to be part of the COVAX supply. AstraZeneca has just been approved in the UK and India, as I indicated, and this will allow for the mass production of this vaccine. And they anticipate to have 2 billion doses available by the end of this year. In terms of vaccine procurement for ourselves, we're clearly working to secure a sufficient supply of vaccines within the shortest possible time so that we can protect the most vulnerable in our community. This is the most critical part of our work and trying to get these deals secured. We're part of the COVAX facility, as I indicated and Minister has advised. And as part of this COVAX facility, they've indicated to us that we should expect vaccines in the second quarter of 2021. We have been in contact with them last week, and they have indicated that they're working very hard to bring that date forward to the first quarter. But at this stage, we've received no firm commitment around that. We've also been in bilateral discussion, which I just described, with all of those companies. With a number of these companies, they've indicated to us that they may be able to supply, and we need to firm up some of those agreements. Until we firm up the agreements, as I indicated, the non-disclosure agreements at this stage prevent us from providing much of that detail. But we're fairly confident we would have vaccine in quarter one. As soon as we do, and we have a contract in place, I think we will certainly be sharing that information.